Are you worried that your Millennium Falcon set or other Ultimate Collector Series Lego set might get yellowed by the sun? Do you have so many Lego Star Wars sets and not enough shelf space that you don't know how to properly display them?
Well, then I have the perfect solution. 1 second. And these are Lego display stands that I also need to put together. So I'm gonna go do that right now. Okay guys, so as you can see here, there's plenty of options to display your Lego sets. Now, we're going to focus specifically on Lego Star Wars because that's what I particularly kind of collect, but this can totally apply to all other Lego themes. It doesn't have to be just Star Wars. Now, full disclaimer, a company called I Display It contacted me a few weeks ago saying, hey David, we have some cool products, would you like to review them? So I went to their website, I saw what exactly they're making, display cases and display stands for all kinds of different Lego sets and I think other stuff as well. But it immediately grabbed my attention because I had seen this stuff before. I've seen, specifically on Facebook groups, I had seen Lego fans buy these giant cases and some stands, and they definitely interested me, but I never really knew where to buy them, nor was I kind of trustworthy of the quality of them. I was just unsure about the product. And when this company reached out, I was like, you know what? Let's try it. I mean, what's the worst that can happen? So they're not paying me or anything like that. This is my full opinion about their products. They did send this to me for free, but they're not paying me to say anything in this review. I have all the rights in the world to say whether this is trash or it's actually good. So I'll link I Display It down below. They're actually based out of the United Kingdom. You can check their website out and see all the options, but I'm going to be going through the products that they sent me. I'm actually really excited about some of these things, and I'm glad to be able to cover a full range of all of this. So definitely check out their site below, and without ado, let's go ahead and take a look at some of this stuff. Alright, so let's start with this humongous display case. This is by far the biggest I have ever owned. And the only one I've actually ever owned. It's humongous. It's an eye catcher. It definitely looks cool in my opinion. I think some of you won't like the look of it, and that's totally fine. I personally do like the way this looks. This is cool, it's different, I like it. So, why did I even request this display case for this Millennium Falcon? Well, as you saw in the beginning of the video, I actually do have the issue where I am a little worried that my Millennium Falcon here, this is the original 2007 one. I do also have the 2017, 10-year refresh one that came out, the $800 Millennium Falcon. That one I'm not worried about because that's kind of in a secluded area where there's not too much light on it. This one, on the other hand, kind of sits next to a window, and even with the shade down in front of the window, there's still some light coming onto it. And so I feel like over time, the possibility of Lego yellowing is very, very possible. So quickly, for those of you who are like, what's Lego yellowing, David? Well, it's something in the community, in the Lego community, that we talk about, and this is something I think a lot of you probably have experienced at some point in your life if you've ever had Lego sit out in the sun. This applies to pretty much every single color that Lego makes. Basically, it's science that if you put ultraviolet light on Lego or just any plastic, it will warp the color. It will change the color. That's just science. With Lego, it really goes wrong, especially with white and light gray, especially. That really doesn't look great. When light gray, or white especially too, sits in the sun long enough, it literally changes to a burnt orange, yellowish, cream color that just doesn't look good, and obviously you don't want to use that in your Lego builds once it's turned that color. And on top of that, especially with a set of this value, you don't want that happening. So I personally talked to the guy who owns iDisplay, and I asked him, does this display case reduce UV light, and does it actually protect your Lego sets from yellowing? He said yes, to an extent. He said glass is going to do a better job at purely taking away UV light. So if you're really worried about yellowing, then you have to spend the big bucks for glass, which again could be upwards between $400 to $500 for a case, which is pretty ridiculous. But if that's you, that's an option. And now for me, who only has a little bit of light spilling onto their Lego sets every now and again, the acrylic plastic case is totally a viable option. Now, not only does it protect it from yellowing, it also protects it from dust. And I get this question all the time, which is, David, how do you deal with dust? And there's no great answer to that. There's a lot of ways to deal with dust on your Lego sets. Personally, thankfully, I don't get much dust with these shells behind here. I don't know why, but I don't have to dust these Lego sets that often. They don't accumulate that much. It kind of depends on your home, your air quality, all that stuff. But this right here, by all means, keeps away all dust. Now, there are some little tiny gaps in here, so it's not 100% airtight, but I am like 99% sure you're not going to get really much dust in this thing. So it protects it from some UV light. So I would say if you have reflections of light in the room and not direct sunlight on the UV on the acrylic, then I don't think you're going to have an issue with yellowing. And then on top of that, it protects it from dust. And the last thing about this giant display case is that it just looks awesome. It's really cool. Obviously, nobody's going to go in and touch your precious Millennium Falcon now because there's this huge case around it, which is great. So if you're worried about kids or stuff, this is also a good idea. And I gotta say, it enhances the Millennium Falcon. Now, specifically, you can see under it, there's this humongous thing of very glossy acrylic black plastic. That's the base layer, and it looks so good. I just want to get a whole piece of this plastic just to take pictures with Lego sets on it because it looks so good. On top of that, as you guys remember from Star Wars A New Hope, the Millennium Falcon, when it lands in the Death Star, it lands on that silky glossy floor, so it kind of also looks like that as well, which is really cool. Now, I've seen fans actually recreate the Death Star room to display your Falcon. I've seen a lot of creative ways to display the Falcon, but if you're not the most creative or you just don't want to spend the time doing something like that, this is also a great idea if you want to make your Falcon look cooler, protect it from light, kids, dust. It's a good option. Now, this display case also fits the brand new 2017 Falcon. You don't have to use the 2007 one. There's actually two versions. One with, you have it normally flat, like how you build the set. There's also one where you can set it up vertically. That costs a little bit more. That one's pretty cool too, but again, it costs more. So this fits both Millennium Falcons. They make all kinds of giant display cases like this for pretty much every Ultimate Collector series set you can think of, including the new Imperial Star Destroyer that literally just came out, that big $700 one. Yeah, there's already a case for that. So if there's a case if there's an Ultimate Collector series set that you want with a case, they pretty much have it on their site down below. Personally, I like the idea of it protecting the UV light, and it's nice that this set won't get any more dust on it, which is really nice. So I like that idea, but is that worth $200? I don't know. I mean, you also have to look at it like, pretend this is the 2017, $800 Millennium Falcon. You already spent $800. What's another $200 to get a display case? I mean, that's kind of my case here, is that if you're already spending that much money, might as well protect your, prized position Lego set and not let people touch it. Because I can tell you right now, I had my Ultimate Collector Series 2017 Millennium Falcon on display in my old apartment, and I can't tell you how many times people touched it and broke something, and it definitely annoyed me. So these things have their place. Is it for everyone? Absolutely not. But if you are that person, this is a good option. Is it worth $200? I don't know. The quality's good. It was pretty easy to assemble, but I did have to use a power drill to kind of drill everything in. This whole thing comes with one little Allen wrench. I recommend getting a drill bit set for Allen keys and then using an actual power drill to put this thing together. It made life a lot easier. As you also saw during the little time lapse, there's a lot of plastic you have to peel off the acrylic. That just keeps it from scratches and basically so that it comes out looking new looking. And I could tell you that this thing's a fingerprint magnet, which also sucks. But I have this stuff right here. I'll link this down below. It's called Whoosh. It's probably the best, screen cleaner or plastic cleaner, whatever. This is what I recommend for cleaning this type of stuff. One last thing I want to mention is that while, as you can see here, shipping wise it came in just fine, there was one issue, which is I actually had here on the side of the display stand. It's not a huge issue, but basically the little slots where you put this big glass looking, or the clear part of the display case, and there was this slots that actually broke off because of shipping. So that's unfortunate, but as you can see, it didn't affect the display stand at all. So I don't think it's a huge issue. I'm sure if I reached out to iDisplay it, that they would probably display the probably replace the entire display case. So I don't really call that too big of an issue. So the bottom line is this worth $200? That's up to you guys. Personally, I do think it's pretty expensive. I think this is definitely only for high-end collectors. If you have like Ultimate Collector Series Lego Star Wars sets, or let's say the Disney Castle, or any of the other high-priced Lego sets, I'm pretty sure they make a display case for it. And it's up to you whether you want this type of protection for you. That's up to you. I do want to say that this is a nice option. If you want to go for it, you're not going to go wrong. You'll be happy with your purchase. You do have to clean the acrylic quite often with some spray, and you risk a little bit with some parts breaking off. But ultimately, it does its job. It looks great. It's going to protect your Lego sets, and if that's what you're looking for, you can't go wrong with this. All right, guys, so on to the display stands part, and I gotta say, these are fantastic. So I'm sure, $200 for a display case, that's quite a lot of money. Good news is that these stands right here are just like $6 a piece, which is nothing compared to the $200 display case. I think this is something that's going to appeal to basically all of you. And if you're like me and have a whole bunch of Lego sets, and especially if they're piling on top of each other, if you have limited shelf space, something like these display stands can allow you to stack Lego sets underneath and above ships and stuff, because Lego makes a whole bunch of Star Wars ships. We all know that, and so getting something like this is a lifesaver, not only to make the ships look better in terms of their flight, but also it gives you more shelf space to kind of organize everything better on your shelves. So this is something I feel like is almost a must-have, because they not only look great, but they also are functional for your storage of Lego sets. So I absolutely love these. As you can see, I have 3 different sizes. I don't know, they call them numbers. So I have the angled stand 4, angled stand 8, and angled stand 12. I guess maybe that's centimeters, like 4 centimeters, 8 centimeters, 12 centimeters. Not sure if that's correct or not. Might not be, but that's the numbers. So 4, 8, and 12, and those will be the ones if you want to check them out at their site below. But anyhow, I absolutely love these. This looks so good. Like I just got this, Coruscant police cruiser. Just brought this down off my shelf, and I was like, let's try this. And I put it on this stand, and look how much better it looks. It looks intimidating now. It looks so good. I absolutely love this. And then I also have this Republic Starfighter right here, and this looks great. The Resistance Y-Wing looks fantastic. Like, they all look fantastic. I actually want to get these display stands for all my Lego sets. Now, I also want to say that I have seen these type of acrylic stands before. There's actually companies that make these acrylic stands with, you could say Rebellion on it or Resistance, and they can be customized with a little laser etched thing. I personally don't really like those. I feel like that kind of takes away from the set itself. I like how simple looking and clean and almost, like it's not there kind of look that these things have going on. I really, really like this aesthetic that they chose. It's very easy to put together. You do have to actually, I broke a fingernail actually peeling off all the like sticker labels off acrylic, so you do have to take all that stuff off when you get them, but overall the assembly process was pretty easy. Do note that the way these stands connect to the Lego sets, they give you these little Lego studs actually to connect to the sets, and there's actually a whole bunch of little holes here that you can put them in, and just to work for your whatever set you're trying to attach it to. But I should note that the studs only go in on one side, and I was really confused because I was trying to push a stud in on the other side and it just wouldn't go in, and then I read on the instructions that you have to put it in on only one side, not the other, and then it worked perfectly, of course. So do note that these studs, when you get this stand, they only go in on one side. I feel like $7 for this stand, that's a bargain. I feel like you should absolutely go and pick up like 3 or 4 of them. I mean, that's only going to cost you like $25, $30 to display 4 of your sets like this. I think it's absolutely worth it, considering you can save shelf space and save money from having to buy more shelves. So if you're looking at it that way, I feel like these are absolutely a must-have. I don't know how much more I can say. Basically, I love this product. I'm not being paid to say that. I absolutely love it. It's cheap. It's very, very useful if you have Lego Star Wars sets or any Lego sets that kind of are ships that need to fly. making them actually, fly like this is just so cool. So I'm sure a lot of you will also say in the comments, well, David, why can't I just go and use, Lego bricks, specifically trans clear Lego bricks, and build my own stands to hold up your Lego sets? And you can absolutely do that, and if that's what you want to do, do it. But I just like the way these look. They look so much more slim. They're not very distracting. I feel like a whole bunch of clear Lego bricks stacked up would be very, it wouldn't look as good. I also like that, these are angled, right? And if you were trying to, make an angled display stand for something this small, it would be a little tricky with transparent Lego specifically. Yes, you could make the display stand with like maybe black bricks or something, but I like the clear look, and so getting, clear Lego bricks, there's not too many elements in the clear category, so trying to create something like this is a little tricky in my opinion. And again, I like the simplicity. I like how easy it is to put this together, and it can work on all, Lego sets that you put it on. Whereas maybe a stand that you make can only work for that specific Lego set, and there's possibility you could break and all of that. So I don't like any of that. I like the ability of like, yes, it just works. Really simply, it works. So I absolutely recommend these. Again, I just want to remind you guys, I'm not being paid to say this. I personally love this product. I think the display case is a maybe if you're like a hardcore collector, but these display stands, you can't go wrong with these. I think once you have these and you do cool creative things like I did here with this gunship, you're going to absolutely love these things. So you can't go wrong with them. Again, I want to thank iDisplay for sending all this out for me. They're not paying me, but I'll link their site down below. That's going to be it, guys. Can't wait to see your solutions for displaying Lego sets. Do you use just plain Lego? Do you have another site or different source to display your Lego sets? I'll be very curious to see that. Maybe I'll do a follow-up video on other ways of displaying your Lego sets. This is, of course, just one way from this one site. I know there's a whole bunch of other ways to do it. Thank you guys so much. I'll see you guys in another video. Have a great, wonderful day. Bye-bye.